This is recording 837. The name of this podcast is Speaking to the CIA.com. The name of the whole podcast series is called Speaking to the CIA. The name of this podcast specifically is Listen Next 837. You can find me at ChristinaStation918.com or SpeakingToTheCIA.com. Okay, so I'm going to continue. This is a bunch of different parts going on, and this is all going to be crime that I am reporting against Gene Roberts. Okay, so Gene Jernigan Roberts, who is, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there with what she's been doing over the past 24 hours. Okay, so anyway, this is something that I wanted to bring up here. Okay, Jean claiming that she is me, okay? She's blinking my brain so I can't bring up what this is. Okay, so you know how she always says that she's me, right? Okay, I can't remember what this is, but this has something to do with, it's something else that I know that she is doing, but it has something to do with, oh, I remember now. She blinked my brain. She wants to treat this as it is the American Indian movement, but the American Indian movement, I've talked about a lot of times, is not focused on covering up for Gene Jernigan Roberts of 119 Jerry Street, Milton, Florida, for running child abuse rings for 60 years and covering up for her for committing terrorism. That's not what it's about. She wants to pretend that everything is about the American Indian movement. What she's doing is she's trying to sub-control or sub-handle and push out the American Indian movement, but by trying to control it and trying to make it look like it's what Native Americans are doing, and she knows what everybody wants, and she'll just do it, and everybody does everything she orders people to do everything in her little gang. Go do this, go do that, go say this, go do that. And people don't know what they're doing, and it's a little Blue's Clues game. And everything they're doing, it all surrounds Gene stealing my life, stealing my entire life, and Gene getting away with doing the World Trade Center attack and Oklahoma City bombing, and Gene stalking me, and Gene running child abuse rings for 60 years. That's what it all surrounds. It protects her, and it worships her, and then she gets people to attack at me, and therefore it feeds her. So she just keeps feeding herself and feeding herself and feeding herself. And she gets worshipped and admired like the Viking that she is. And her using my decoding to turn her in and then pretending to be me to cover herself with. Okay, so that's not what the American Indian movement is about. Everybody knows American Indian movement. I can't wait for it. It's not going to be about running around saving and covering Gene Jernigan Roberts and attacking someone that knows that Gene is guilty, which would be me knowing that Gene is guilty. Anyway, so In Jean's "Let Me Pretend to Be Christina" bit to cover her butt, pretending to be me, okay, is there something else that she's doing that's going along that she's trying to do? She is pretending to be Native American. She's pretending to be, okay, while she's pretending to be me, okay, she does like this method acting, her rendition of me, which is all lies, which she just did a minute ago in my brain before I walked in here. It was, and then she goes, "Thank you." And I'm not even gonna go there with what she did, because you guys already know what she has done and what she's guilty for. So she just took a minute for herself before I started making this podcast, and then she, "Thank you." Anyway, so what I was gonna say is the stealing. Okay, so what she's doing is she's making an excuse as stealing from me, from turning her in, and then pretending to be people that she has hurt and killed in history, and instead acting as their savior. But that's not what I am doing. I am decoding crimes that she committed, and I'm asking for Jean's arrest, and asking to please stop stalking me and my boys, and asking to be in a witness protection program. But you know Jean, she suffers from narcissistic personality disorder. And since she's trying to be me and trying to steal from me, she's telling on herself there. She wants to be, again, she wants to be worshipped, because she has that fantasy that that's what I want, and that's not it. But that's what she wants, so that's why she does that. You get what I'm saying? This is all about her and her pleasure. Anyway, so while she is doing that, the United States was formed and built around, everything is brought in from the United States. Everything, and what I mean by that is like the sculptures, like designing, building, the architecture, and then you can go even into, obviously cuisine, but I'm saying like everything that we do is brought in and comes from another part of the world, but a lot of people don't know that. And it is hurtful. So people think that everything that is American built is American built. They don't associate it with this. This was ours. You stole this from us. Okay, so she's doing the method acting of that role, acting out in rage, patronizing, as if she's a million different people, saying, "You stole this from us." In relationship to me charging her with stealing my decoded ciphers, turning her in, which all surrounds me turning her in for committing terrorism and running trafficking rings. All kinds of terrorism, all throughout history. and decoding her terror plot. So her stalking me all of my life, her stalking my family lines all my life. She's turning that into some kind of even more joke, and she's slapping everyone across the face and acting as this role as it's a part of the American Indian movement, going, you stole this from me. So she's like making fun of everything. And she's stealing in her act of doing that, and then forcing me into the position to make people aware of that she is doing that, again, is pre-planned AIW hurt. She wants to hurt and stab people, and she does that with a double punch. Because in order for me to call her out, it stings again. The only way to get her to stop is to arrest her. So what she is doing is she's taking a double swing at everybody in the United States of America and everybody around the world. Jean Jernigan Roberts. And someone pointed that out to me today, that she was doing that. And I said, I'm going to let everybody know. So, anyway, okay. So, moving forward, okay. So, remember when I told you when I was little and when in grade school, when I was living in Globe, I was in grade school, I learned how to make paper frogs and paper balloons. Okay, so the paper frog is what, and everything means something. So the paper frog, someone was pointing out to me, sorry, she's trying to distract me, acting like I'm, just keep continuing. We know she moves your eyes around. Let me, people are talking through me right now. Let me say this to myself. People know that she tries to distract me when I am trying to turn her in. She thinks she is cute. She thinks she is funny. Again, she is doing what you just said she is doing. And she is trying to rob your life as a child. She is trying to rob you turning her in or stalking you all your life. So they know what she is doing. So just continue making the recording and getting her turned in. And ignore her abusing your brain and body. And stalking the heck out of you. And spreading lies to make money to commit more terrorism. Ignore it all and continue to make podcasts and turn her in. Anyway, so the frog, okay, so someone was pointing this out to me today. The frog, the way that the end result of the frog looks, okay, it looks like a diamond. It looks like a, you know that, I can't think of the name of the shape. And this is a statue. Okay. Take a triangle and then put a square underneath it. So it looks like a, okay. And then 2 rectangular legs coming out, and then 2 triangle feet coming out of the legs, okay? And then it folds in half, and then you can push on its butt, and then it actually, the paper frog actually hops, okay? So they pointed out to me today that myself learning how to make, I'm sorry, let me redo my sentence. She's trying to control me. I'm really getting mad. Her icing me and my classmates, okay? I keep my treasured memories because I do not let her disrupt my life. Instead, I disrupt hers by turning her in. So anyway, the back of somebody's pointing out to me the way the frog is, the shape of it. Okay, so on its back, it has a V, has a upside down V. Okay, so they said the frog is not only a sign to the future plagues, but they said the V on the back of the frog, the lambda, lambda, lambda symbol. So that's also a sign. And then they said, there is, also, there was something else here. Okay, so also the cut on my finger. Remember I told you she cut my finger? Okay, she used ice on me when I was little. Okay, when she used robotic technology on me. Okay, she cut my finger twice when I was little, using robotic control on me. Okay, one time was with a butcher knife, and it was like when it was when I was 3 years old. Okay. I can still remember all of it, and I've told you about this in previous podcasts, okay? I went to go cut an orange. I wanted an orange. I asked my mom if I could have an orange, and my mom said I could, and so I went to go cut the orange open myself, and I got a butcher knife or gigantic steak knife. It was a big, gigantic knife, and I tried to cut the orange open to peel it, and I sliced my finger open, okay? So, but that was all robotic control. That was her robot controlling me to get a big old knife to cut the orange open, and then she sliced my finger open. And I still have the scar on my finger, on my left pointer finger. I still have it to this day, okay? Then on the same finger, when I was a little bit older, when I was in grade school, she did the same thing by icing me to play with a pair of a box cutter knife, okay? And she sliced my finger open, my same finger, with a box cutter knife. So I've got these two scars on my finger. So I decode both of these scars. All the scars on my body mean something. Everything, scars and birthmarks, everything means something. I decode all of it, okay? And all leaks of future terrorism and all kinds of everything. So this is something else that I'm pointing out about the paper cut, okay? So paper cut, it's not a paper cut, it was a box cutter knife, but it looks and felt like a paper cut. Like it's, okay, so a paper cut, what are the initials of paper cut? PC, piece, okay? So something else I wanted to point out in this, the lion, you know how I told you she controls fashions and trends over time and pre-plans for everything. Okay, so present day until the end. Okay, so something else she did in the 70s. So the Charles Manson murders happened in the late 60s. Okay, she's the leader of Charles Manson. She is also towards the top, or the leader of the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, so she wasn't toward the top or the leader of the Ku Klux Klan back then. She had joined the Ku Klux Klan, but now present day, that is her position in the Ku Klux Klan. And she joined, she didn't join, she created, please stop controlling my speech. She created the Charles Manson occult in the 60s, okay? She's been the leader of Charles Manson since the 60s. Okay, so anyway, Charles Manson was tried in 1971, and I was born in 1971, and it went from, as she pre-planned, trial to trail. So paper trail. Okay, so it went from, so somebody else was just, so paper trail is also in it. Somebody was just saying that through me. So that also goes to her trial trail. Okay, she's got a whole spin on the word trail. So his trial, and then he was in prison in 1971, and then at that same time she plans for me to be born in 1971. Okay, and she does, this is all, as you know, she's iced my whole life. Okay, I'm not going through all the, I'm going to continue talking, stop interrupting me. Anyway, so, trial to trail, okay? So, and then it goes to also, I'm sorry, she's still trying to control my speech. Also, this would also connect to the ciphers that I decoded where she was ripping apart. It's horrible. Like, it made me cry. It made my stomach sick. Where she was ripping apart the Trail of Tears in history. So that's a part of this. Okay? And then she uses that and decides she's going to... I don't even want to say what she did. It's horrible. Anyway, so trail me, which means follow me, stalk me all my life, and then trial. And then trial. But I've never had a trial. But she pretends that she has me under some sort of like, she pretends that I'm like in jail. She literally tells people I'm in jail. She literally tells people I'm in jail. She literally says I'm people that I'm not. And she literally lies about who I am, and she literally says I'm in jail. And then she pretends that I'm in some virtual freaking AI jail, some stupid fantasy shit she's got going on. For what? Because you know that I know that you stalked me all my life. Like, I don't even get in her bizarro world. I just turn the psycho bitch in. She's a mass murderer. She's a terrorist. She's a child abuser. But anyway, so it goes from trial, and then, you know, movie trailers. She wants to get famous, which is what she planned to do. I decoded all of it. She wants to make movies, but she's doing this all her evil way, just this nasty, like, sick, morbid, lying, just, she's gross. So, I do know that there's real filming going on by Real Hollywood. I know they're paying attention to all of this. All over the world, everything uncensored. I know big people are on. I know they never talk. Please stop controlling my speech. They don't talk. They don't need to. There's everybody everywhere around the world that is involved in, until this is over with, paying attention to everything that is going on. And then you have Jean's circus movie making antic show she's got going on, which she will be arrested for. She thinks this is a big, just, she's going to be a star and everything else. Okay, so anyway, so in the 70s, okay, so I was born in 71, so after the Charles Manson murders and all of that ends 1971. Charles Manson stays alive. I mean, stop controlling my speech. The Charles Manson occult is huge today. Gene Roberts is the leader of it. It's never gone anywhere, but I'm saying in the newspapers in time, this event happened in time. Now it's over with in 1971, and it's the onset of the 70s, okay? So you're talking about the times and trends of the 70s. Okay, so in the 70s, what was famous in the 70s? What is known in the 70s? The colors of the 70s. these colors were controlled. Gene controlled these colors too. Yellow, orange, brown, and green. And then in this, you can find out how I'm in here. She plans to sacrifice me. You can see that I am the Scorpio child, the Scorpio baby that he predicted, or NWO baby, however you want to put it, which is the onset of the Gene's future plot, the Civil War and then Illuminati takeover NWO, but it's Charles Manson under the guise of the Illuminati, because everything has to be done Gene's way. So Gene commits a bunch of crime, totally controls my life, stalks the ever living heck out of me. So she literally ruined, and the colors of the 70s, people like, these days. So the colors. So, and they're the color, you know what they are also the colors of? They're the colors of fall. But they're they're just the Thanksgiving, like the fall colors. So she's using American Indian movement there too. So it's like a the colors of the 70s. Everybody remembers it. Everybody remembers the 70s. So she pre-planned those colors also. So another thing that she did was, and she wants to hide what she did and claim that the American Indian movement did that. They did not do that. This is all stuff that Gene Roberts. I already know this is what Gene Jernigan. Let me talk. Do not talk through me, Gene, and quit acting like people that you're not. Acting like you're some little kid going in my mouth or whatever. What is that? Stop. I already know that Gene Jernigan Roberts did this. This is a part of her trickery and treachery. Okay, I already know that she did this. She plans in the future, present day. I got a cookie for you. They get exactly what Gene Roberts did, which pisses people off even more. So, anyway, so another thing I want to point out in the 70s that's also intentional. Okay, so you know those flower decals that used to be really popular? The ones that you stick on sliding glass doors, shower doors, and the bottom of bathtubs. Ugh, bottom of bathtub. And then her last name, Roberts. Anyway, so you don't crash into glass. Remember how popular those used to be? You can see them, you can look them up on Google. Flower decals of the 70s. Those hippie flower looking things that you stuck on everything. Okay, those were intentional too. Think about those. So that's future signs of her doing the World Trade Center attack, and it's also future sign, and it's also her bragging about Charles Manson. She's the leader of Charles Manson. It's also the plagues. Future signs of the plagues. It's signs of revelations. Her trying to control and bring on revelations. And then anyway, I'm continuing on. You have my whole podcast. So, anyway, also in the 70s, I decoded this, her stalking me all of my life. I decoded this, but this is also a part of it. Somebody was bringing this up in my brain, reminding me of it. So maybe it needs looked at again. was the mirrors in the 70s that were really popular with the cracked gold inlay in them. So, and you know, Cracked goes to Mad Magazine. I decoded this to see. Then also, the ones that I remember were in my mom's apartment or house where she lived with Sergio at, where she was Sergio, my stepdad at. I think we were in a house. Like, I can remember coming in through a front and side door. And I remember the kitchen, and I remember the living room, and I remember my room, and I remember the bathroom, I remember my mom's room. But I don't know if it was like a ranch style apartment. I would think it was a house. I think it was like a ranch style apartment, a real teeny tiny apartment. But the glass in the bathroom on the wall was a mirror with that cracked glass inlay. Okay, and I decoded all of that. When I was decoding my childhood, I'm sorry, people keep trying to blank my brain. What they do is they short circuit out. They like go zzz, but it doesn't feel like a noise or anything. They just, my brain memory just goes blank because I'm trying to talk like I'm trying to, and then it gets in my brain, and then she goes, here you go, and then she puts back in what I'm trying to say, acting like I'm a computer or something, and she's doing a punch card and punching back in. Like she's just gonna, and then after this recording over, like she's gonna steal everything I'm gonna say and act like she's me. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I was decoding, now she blanked my freaking brain again. So I was decoding crimes and terrorism that she committed around this, but they said in references to fashion and stuff of the 70s, and plagues and stuff, that to look at the glass again. So also the green, if you decode out yellow, orange, brown, that decodes out, and also green spells out birthday, the word birthday, and what it's referring to is the bicentennial year. 1976 was our bicentennial year. So I'm at 30 minutes here, so I'm going to end this recording and I'm going to start another one.